Bad choices do not erase themselves. Floodwaters and money are not irresistible. We're going to show you how voters for common sense growth see the future of Fulton and its surroundings. Not overgrown and urban, but sensibly budding with the times, open to all who want the best for their families. It involves common sense and well thought out planning and zoning. That's smart growth. The issue is inappropriate zoning procedures, and we oppose the rezoning of Parcel 113, Map 46, from its current RRDEO to RA15. You're looking at it. Its name is Parcel 113. Many thought this was to improve water pressure for the Maple Lawn community north of 216. So, it was built without notice, the public out of the loop, no public input, and no questions about the structure, so it became a done deal. 2012, a business, Maple Lawn Farms, donates $20,000 to paint the tower with the words Maple Lawn, Howard County. It was advertising for the commercial enterprise, the only tower in Howard County where that happened. December 2012, this firm moves to have the planned service area, that is the water and sewer service, applied to Parcel 113, 91 acres, located south of Highway 216. Remember this picture. Amending the zoning map to put this piece of land in the high residential density category is simply the wrong plan. We're showing you why. The residents had no idea about the PSA, or the zoning, or that 2 hearings were about to be held. Everything turned on getting that PSA hookup. Zoning says,
amendments to zoning on the zoning map do not make it necessary to contact affected residents since the 30-day notice has been waived by zoning in such matters.
But the DPZ did mail some form letters on March 15th. Yes, residents were effectively dismissed from commenting on a seemingly done deal. 10 days to inform the voting public? It was biased against the people, the voters, the taxpayers in Howard County. Transparent? Was this a case of spot zoning prohibited by the state? Recently, 2 parcels did come into the PSA. They applied for RA15 and were denied, while Parcel 113, situated about 940 yards from the watershed, could get it. What was going on? With zoning as RED, 2 dwellings per acre, and not RA15, 15 dwellings per acre. And so, Voters for Common Sense Growth was formed to give power input on these issues. Legal concerns, traffic and associated safety concerns, schools and redistricting again, environmental concerns, and infrastructure not sufficient even now.
The developers want high density for this area. This will bring massive influx of people. Maple Lawn is only half complete. The traffic is already tight with 4 traffic circles that they built to handle the Maple Lawn population. And schools are affected as well.
We just can't take an additional influx of people that would find a way to make this park and ride work for their commuting needs. It's important to note that having a commuter bus lot and a commuter bus is not a panacea for getting people around to their jobs that they'll need to go to. That ignores the realities of how we commute in Howard County.
Redistricted schools are slightly below capacity, but the original Maple Lawn community has only reached 50% of its final size. Projecting the present trend leads to more redistricting, longer rides, disruptions.
Well, these roads have no shoulder. It's not safe, it's not smart, and we think that the county can do better for us. In an established rural area like this, you increase the stress on existing infrastructure. We're asking our elected officials to recommend an appropriate zoning change, one that complies with Plan Howard 2030 by providing transitional development.
Rezoning affects our families. Our kids get stressed by it when it wasn't necessary if we would just have smart growth. 2030 was supposed to help guide the politicians, and they're failing us because they're letting the interests of special interest developers kind of trump the many hundreds of hours that the community stakeholders, the developers, the government, they all came to the table to come up with Plan 2030. It's bad for all of us.
The point is, if these highly engineered large wastewater treatment plants can fail. Here south of 216, if this new high density development is allowed, we'll have to have a lift station to carry away our wastewater. That will fail. It's not if it will fail, it's when it will fail and how often it will fail. When it fails, the overflow from that lift station will be introduced directly into Rocky Gorge Reservoir. There's no other place for it to go, and it cannot be stored. It has to go somewhere.
Now here's what better smart growth looks like. We can use maple lawn as a guide. It allows for stormwater management and a habitat for animals. There are some walking paths for kids and parrots. It also gives an option to widen secondary roads and highways, as in the case of 216. So, we look at what is already at Maple Lawn and take the good features. Our recommendation shows a deep landscape buffer provided across the entire width fronting Route 216. It provides adequate space for pedestrian walkways, for stormwater management, wildlife habitats. The long, wide side buffering Murphy Road homes faces toward the reservoir. Properly regulated, maintained stormwater management is proposed for the buffer areas. Studies show that homeowner-maintained rain gardens are unregulated and are prone to be ineffective because of the improper maintenance. Then there's a wide area that allows for adequate afforestation. A mix of residential product types are provided for inclusionary housing options, where interior pocket parks, a pool, tennis courts provide spaces for neighbor gatherings and recreations and play space for children. Formal trails are provided through the buffers to encourage walking and biking to schools and business districts and shopping centers, commuter lots, religious facilities. Again, for rainwater and wastewater management, the other two sides will have a large barrier that connects to the existing rural residential housing. These houses are already in place. There are 3 to 4 acres of land established in the community. This plan's proposed RED zoning and density reflect the other surrounding uncommitted land parcels, showing Howard County Uncommitted Land and Preservation Land Map. The distinct possibility that owners or heirs will request upzoning in the future. It also considers unallocated densities for Maple Lawn's community, the possibility of land use within the development to change in the future to meet market demands.